Slack.
It's time once again for another edition of Talk to Me. And now, here's ME himself, 8-time Emmy Award-winning journalist, Maynard Eaton.
Hello again, friends, and welcome to Talk to Me. I'm Maynard Eaton, and this is a special edition. We have civil rights legend, Reverend Jesse Jackson, with us. Reverend Jackson, thank you so much for joining us. How are you, sir?
I'm so glad to be with you. I feel so fortunate to be with you today. You mean so much to us. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Reverend Jackson, you just finished your 21st annual convention with Rainbow Push. What were the topics? Pandemic to presidential politics, or everything in between? What was the focus this year?
The pandemic, the medical pandemic, the virus is engulfing the whole nation. After all, you look at the number of people who are sick and dead, and numbers are rising, and how the president is flirting with it. It didn't have to get this bad, but it's everywhere. Georgia's a red state. It's on the rise in Georgia, for example. Number two, you got Code 19, but also Code 1619, race relations. I mean, young man shot, killed in Brunswick, Georgia, and Atlanta, Georgia, and killings around the country. And then you have the militia go into the Michigan legislature armed and come back to kidnap the governor. This is real, and the president does not speak out against it. So you're looking at a very dangerous time in which we live. Having said that, we still must remain focused on census and voter turn, voter count. We in the ex-slave states really have the power that say that you could Reverend Warner could win the seat in Georgia, the Senate seat. The numbers are there. Harris could win the seat in South Carolina, could defeat Lindsey Graham. Esther could win the seat in Mississippi. Now, you and I first met, we were fighting for the right to vote. Now I'm talking about the right to be senators. For the change. Dr. King never saw a black man in Atlanta, Montgomery, never saw a black man in Birmingham, Selma, or Richmond. The day Dr. King gave a speech in Washington, it occurs to me, Michael, the only black official in the whole South was Leroy Johnson of Atlanta.
That's right. Yeah.
Virginia around to Texas didn't have a single black elected except Atlanta, Georgia. And he was responsible for getting Ali back in the ring, by the way. As a matter of fact, was in Atlanta, Georgia. Just one guy. So we have an explosion of politics across the South. But now, the last phase of our struggle acts as the capital industry and technology. Even first phase in slavery, 246 years of struggle, and Jim Crow, another 100 years of lynchings and mob violence. Right to vote, but you can be out of slavery, have the vote, and starve death unless you have access to capital, industry, technology, and deal flow. That's why there's an emphasis in this conference on access to capital. But Boeing is in South Carolina now. South Carolina's the number one tire production company in the country now. BMW is over in Volkswagen is in Chattanooga now. Toyota's in Mississippi now. So the New South has awesome possibility we must think about access to capital, however, Michael.
Reverend Jackson, you ran for president of the United States twice. I had the pleasure of covering you on some of your occasions. What are your thoughts now about where we are in presidential politics? It's a whole different world. Is it not from when you were seeking the seat?
Well, our confidence level has risen. When I first ran, my first problem was convincing blacks it was possible. It was amazing how many black leaders said it's futile, it wasn't worth our time, we just going to defeat a good liberal. Well, I meant to defeat everybody, but the idea was to break through psychologically. I remember sitting on the stages at night, and somebody said, "Well, you're sitting up here on the stage with Hollins and Glenn." I said, "But I came further to get here." But more than that, there are people behind me who will change the dynamics. The fact that you had the mayor of Atlanta and the running for the VP slot, for example.
Yeah. Right.
You have a woman who went to Howard University, who was one of my campaign leaders in California in '88, now on the ticket. And she did a marvelous job the other night. She's so precise, so ready, so prepared. It shows that we're unleashing a whole new generation of political leaders on our country. And they're humane. But I love the revolts this summer, where nobody killed and sent by police during these revolts because the mayors were humane, whether Houston, Atlanta, or Chicago, the mayors were humane.
Reverend Jackson, you are, by all accounts, a civil rights legend. But this summer has seen the loss of Reverend Joe Lowry, Reverend C.T. Vivian, um, John Lewis. You and Andy Young are about the only ones left from that era, are you not? And what did that era
Well,
mean to them?
it's a lonesome feeling. There's Andy Young, there's Reverend Otis Moss, Jr. in Cleveland, Ohio. There's Reverend Bernard Lafayette, who's chair of SCLC. So there are a few of us left, but God's blessed some of us be long distance runners. And I think about it. 79 yesterday, 79 years old.
Wow.
Mandela came out of jail, he was 71. He became president of South Africa in 75. He married at age 80. You know, some of us are long distance runners. I thank God for allowing me to be a long distance runner, and I'm anxious to share with the coming generation what we learned.
Reverend Jackson, again, a civil rights legend, rainbow push leader. But what do you make of Black Lives Matter? Is that the result of what you and others have done, Black Lives Matter, or are they directionless, as some
No,
say?
they have direction. You know, for a long time it seemed that Trayvon Martin killed in Florida and the killer walked free. Now people killed in Charleston and the family immediately forgives the killer. They take him to jail and stop getting a hamburger on the way. Diallo killed in New York, and Rodney King and Michael Brown. Somebody said, "Don't Black Lives Matter?" Because what was common about these cases, police who killed them walked away, as if
Yeah.
we didn't matter. And so Black Lives Matter becomes the expression today for. It's a new book on an old song. There's a picture I saw the other day of Susan Howard in 1930 at Howard University saying "Stop lynching." They were saying Black Lives Matter. We were saying in the 60s, we were saying Black Lives Matter. We had to go back to the bus. I went to jail in 1960 trying to use the public library. They say
Wow.
we're ignorant, they were locked out. So that Black Lives Matter is a step forward. And its reach has been so much broader than our reach was. There's a great reception among white people, young white America, and not so young white America. The corporate America is now seeing that the price America's paid locking out black talent has been a very expensive price. We have a lot to offer. And Black Lives Matter is raised consciousness. And that is its primary contribution, really, raising consciousness.
Are you hopeful about where we are? Are you confident about where Black America is today? From whence you've come, you've been here the whole way. Where are we now, and how do you feel about where we are today as African Americans?
What makes me feel good today is that in the past, we fought without the right to vote. Now we have the power to change our situation. I mean, we have 60 blacks in Congress. And then, I guess 63 with Dr. Kingsburg in Washington. Only Leroy Johnson was elected in the whole South. You got 4 black congressmen from Georgia alone, 60 across the country, 4 Latinos, 20 Asian Americans, 2 Native Americans, and they're working in concert. So I am some Democrat on the Congress is significant. Now this election, if Warnock wins and Harrison in South Carolina and Espen in California, we're going to have 5 blacks in the U.S. Senate. So politically, we're moving, and I'm excited about the prospects. If we use the right use of that vote, but the right use of the dollar as well, was we had the Wall Street Project, because access to capital is a big deal. We went to Silicon Valley some years ago. 136 board members, white, 186 white males, 36 white women, 3 blacks and 1 Latino. Now, 30 blacks on boards in Silicon Valley. YouTube, Facebook and the like, Apple, because of our work there. And same is with all the industry in Detroit and the Southeast economic development. So I'm excited about the future, really. I think November 3rd, we're going to send a message to America. And it's not for blacks only. The Black Lives Matter is not just about black and white, it's about wrong and right, it's about sides of history. Or you on the side of history that encourages vigilantes to threaten to kidnap a governor?
Yeah.
You on the side of history that allows a 17-year-old kid to kill 2 people in Kenosha and become a hero for doing so? Are you on the side of history that will speak lightly of what happened in Charlottesville, the babies born on the borders? Are you on the humane side of history? And something that's Jimmy Carter's big contribution, by the way. Jimmy Carter said you should a fact in human rights and in foreign policy be human rights. It was seen as weak when he said it, but the fact is that the strongest dimension of foreign policy, human rights, that comes out of Jimmy Carter in Plains, Georgia.
Finally, sir, you are beloved by whites, blacks, and everyone around the world. How are you feeling, Reverend Jackson? How you doing, man?
Doing very well. I contracted Parkinson's some time back. I worked real hard on my regimen. It affects your speech somewhat. It affects balance. But I take my therapy seriously. But I never stopped working.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, if you treat everything dies within you, we're working right now at the Rainbow Push in Chicago. We're organizing a diaper drive, hooked up with a diaper making company. Many poor mothers don't have diapers for their babies. They walk around with the same diaper on all day long. You get rashes. They're too poor to get diapers and baby shoes and baby clothes and baby food. Folks not on the census count. Big deal this year.
Yeah.
Voting makes the vote counts in November. I would say on the mailing thing, it's not dangerous as Trump says it is. But don't wait for November 3rd. Vote now. Vote early. Vote early, but do vote in the name of all this precious to us. If you're interested in affordable health care, vote about it. Student loan debt, vote about it. Pell grants, vote about it. We don't always have that lever, Michael. We have levers that we never had before.
Ladies and gentlemen, what a treat. What a legend. Reverend Jesse Jackson Jr. Thank you so much for joining us. This has been a special edition of Talk to Me.
Michael. I want people who are watching us today to do one thing. Go to your website, rainbowpush.org, and push membership. Join Rainbow Push, our membership. My book, I have a book of sermons and speeches, 88 speeches in that book. I want people to buy that book as a keepsake, but also to read it to see what we're doing, Michael. Amazon.com, you can get the book today. Amazon.com. I'll join Rainbow Push because people help push before you need help from push. We need you to join. Don't be a bystander. Join the movement. Make it happen. And you as a journalist, you played your professional role, but you're in the movement, Michael, and that's why we love you so much. The book here.
Keeping hope alive. Very good. Well, I just want to say something to you. I just want to say it's Maynard, like your former good friend Maynard Jackson. That's the name. Also want to say.
That's a good thing.
Thank you so much, sir. Appreciate you. Take care.
Okay, Michael.